following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
This is Rob Deininger with Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and some of you probably know me from the podcast of New York Yankees baseball, past, present, and future. I got a new show about NFL rivalries along with college, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Giants and Cowboys, and my guest is Mark Evans from Texas. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, man, I can't complain too much at all. It's a beautiful Saturday down here in the Big D. It's a little chilly, but we ready to rock and roll, man.
That's good. Do you know when the Giants and Cowboys rivalry started?
You know, I don't really know when it started. Now, as I mentioned earlier, man, I was born in '70, so I'm a '70s kid. Grew up through those '80s. But I do remember is the NFC East as a division itself just being made up of a bunch of rivalries.
Yeah, my dad, who was a diehard Cowboys fan, Tom Landry used to be a player and assistant coach for the Giants. And then in 1960, he became the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And that's when the rivalry took off.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they formed that division.
I never knew that before.
Yeah, neither did I. You know what, Landry got hired in '60 and coached for, 28 seasons?
Yeah, and he still has a record for most winning seasons, which I think is 20 in a row, which is unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And being here in Dallas, we first moved up here in like '80. The Cowboys had a practice facility over off of Abrams and Forest Lane, right next door to a pizza hut we used to go to all the time. So we could actually climb up the fence and look over the fence and see, you know, Too Tall Jones and Randy White and those guys at practice. Crazy.
No kidding. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And my dad, one of his favorite players was Ed Too Tall Jones.
Yeah, buddy.
Him all the time.
Yeah, buddy, man, I was telling somebody, you know, yesterday, and this isn't Cowboys Giants related, but my mom went to, I think, Super Bowl 15. It was 1980, and it was played in New Orleans. One of our neighbors was Jeff Barnes. He actually was on the team, like a special teams ace. She went to the game, and she got one of those fans that you get, you know, because it's hot in the stadium.
Yeah. So
after the game, she goes to a party. And at this party, she gets it signed by Upshaw, Art Shell, Cliff Branch, Jim Plunkett, Kenny King. But I'm only 9 years old, dude. So I have no clue these guys are stars.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's like I fell in love with the Giants when I saw this guy, number 56, tearing it up on the football field. In fact, I think he broke Danny White's wrist twice, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, I think he pretty much ended his career almost, or basically ended his career.
Basically. I mean, White was, you know, in my opinion, White was a really good Band-Aid. He was never going to be the difference in any game, and he was just good enough to keep the squad afloat. Played in two title games. You know, he had some success. Yeah. I started liking the Giants when y'all had the runner Morris.
Little
short dude.
Joe Morris.
Joe Morris, little short dude. I liked him. I liked McConkey.
Phil McConkey, he was a character, yeah.
Such an average receiver.
Yeah, Stephen Baker and Phil McConkey were their two receivers back in the day. But the guy I loved was
Mark Bavaro.
Man. I mean, talk about tough. I mean, he got a broken jaw in one game, comes back out with his jaw wired shut, and he's pushing the coach to tell him to put him back in the game. I mean, you don't see guys built like that anymore.
No, you really don't. And, I mean, you know, the Cowboys back in the 80s had Billy Joe Dupree at first, and then Doug Cosby. And, I mean, of course, Novacek in the 90s was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But Mark Bavaro, he was something special until my boy Ronnie Lott put that watch on him.
Yeah. Tell you, Ronnie Lott was no joke. I mean, people, when they think of the 49ers team of the golden years, I mean, their defense was legit, led by Ronnie Lott. I mean, he was no joke. I mean, I heard, what's the story that he had his pinky cut off so, you know, he could play in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
I mean,
he did. He's the only player who has less fingers now than when he started playing. That was pretty incredible, man. Just the NFC in general. I actually posted in an NFL 80s to 89 group that I'm in on Facebook about the domination of the NFC from 84 to 96. They won every Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Redskins, Giants. I mean, Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Cowboys, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and Doug Williams was phenomenal in the Super Bowl he was in. And your Cowboys, I remember when they drafted Aikman and Steve Walsh. I actually thought Steve Walsh was going to win it out because he played for Jimmy Johnson in Miami. But Aikman...
I wanted him to win it.
Huh?
I wanted Walsh to win it.
Oh, did you? I mean, I thought he actually outplayed him a little bit, Aikman, but...
I did too.
You know...
I did too.
You know, they made the right call, even though that first season Aikman went 1-15 and took his lumps.
Look, I went back and looked at Troy's first 3 years as a starter. I mean, he only played a full 16 in one of those seasons.
Wow.
And he only had more touchdowns than interceptions in 2 of them.
Wow. It's 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but, you know.
He suffered, 10 concussions in his career, something like that? 8, 9, or 10?
Yeah, Troy took a beating, man, but, you know, people are all over my current quarterback. They're all over Dak Prescott now for being a young quarterback.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and like you said to me off air, that he was really thrust into this. You know.
Yeah, I mean he's not even supposed to be starting until next season.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, quarterbacks, they sat a couple of years before they got their shot. Now they're just thrust into it.
Well, yeah, they are. And if you look at Tom Brady, he got to sit.
Yeah.
Before he got the job, he got to sit.
Aaron Rodgers as well.
Aaron Rodgers, you look at, let's go back to the best Band-Aid who ever played in the NFL, Tony Romo.
Yeah. And Bill Parcells, give him credit because he saw something in him. You know, but you're right. You know. But
those guys got to sit.
Romo, you just knew he was going to throw an interception at the worst possible time. I used to feel so bad for him when that happened, and I'm a Giants fan.
I do think, though, as his body began to break down, he started
once
to
that
make,
back goes.
Yeah, he started to make less and less of those mistakes, though.
Yeah.
He got to the point where he was Aaron Rodgers at how he could manipulate the game with his arms and his legs.
Yeah, he was great at manipulating the pocket.
Yeah, I'm talking about after he'd already blown so many games with that bad pick. He had become more like a magician on the field, but his body was made of glass.
Yeah. But But that seems to happen a lot with quarterbacks. You get hurt once, and then you get hurt that second time, and all of a sudden, it's just it just starts happening. Your body just starts breaking down.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I mean, look at Rich Gannon. Let's talk about Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon's 7 or 8 seasons, he wasn't anything. But his last 3 or 4 seasons, he was amazing.
Yeah, I remember that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, and I remember Jerry Rice screaming on the sideline that he's open. Tell Gannon I'm open. You know. But for those years, Gannon was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
He really was. He really was. But he was nothing. He was nobody in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And I was also going to bring up Aaron Rodgers. He's broken his collarbone twice already?
Yeah, 2 times now. So one more hit, and it's probably a wrap. One more hit, it's probably a wrap.
And with I was going to say, Ezekiel Elliott, I think the Cowboys got to keep feeding him to keep that offense going. Because I think you get him the touches, everything else is just it opens up, especially with Cooper out there running around.
Absolutely. You
know,
one thing that does concern me about that though is, I was watching a pregame. They do a little route running in pregame, right? I think it was a Monday night game. We were getting ready to play the Titans. And Amari ran like a 15-yard curl. And most quarterbacks are going to let it rip right at the top of the curl. So as soon as they turn around, the ball's there, right?
There, yeah.
I'm watching Amari run this curl, and Dak doesn't throw it until he can see his numbers.
See, that's something that he's going to learn over time, but
he's got to throw that ball before.
Yeah, you got to know when you got to be on the same page.
And to be honest with you, when Amari caught the ball, he kind of rolled his eyes.
Oh, no kidding.
He kind of rolled his eyes like, man, let that ball go. Let it go earlier.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that can only help him, though, because that, constructive criticism on your quarterback, behind closed doors can do wonders for a young quarterback like Dak.
Well, it's interesting that you say constructive criticism because, to be honest with you, from the moment the guy stepped into the lineup, he's been overly constructively criticized.
Yeah, true.
By everyone.
Yeah.
Cowboys fans are the worst.
If the offense starts struggling a little bit, they go right after Dak.
Good.
I thought the play calling in the beginning of the season was suspect at best. I thought they could have done a lot better job play calling.
Yeah, it's still questionable. For sure. It's questionable. But at the same time, we're talking about a 4th-round pick from a school who ran essentially the Wildcat formation.
Yeah, he was out of Memphis, right?
No, Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State. I was thinking of the guy from Denver who's no longer on the team.
I actually wanted that guy.
I thought he could do something, but apparently he had trouble picking stuff up and progressing.
Yeah. I really wanted Paxton Lynch, to be honest with you. My brother wanted Dak, and we got Dak.
And it's like, and he's the one thing I'd like to see too is him cut down on the fumbles behind when he gets sacked. He fumbles a lot when he gets hit. I like to
absolutely. He'd like to see that cut down.
Yeah. It's like I got all the Giants fans. They're screaming. They want that guy Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State, and I'm not sold on him. Do you know much about him? Yeah, because I see he has trouble throwing in between the second and third level. His passes tend to sail, and his accuracy downfield And plus his footwork, to me, it doesn't impress me. And I think
Right.
it's fool's gold in
It's
a way.
fool's gold. I'm with you. And he's, if you really watch him real close, like get ready when you watch this bowl game coming up.
Yeah.
He's a slow starter. He doesn't get going until midway through the second quarter and the third. He really doesn't.
I'm pulling up Eli stats because Giants fans have been all over him how he's been horrible the last 5 years. And he's only averaged over 4,000 yards a season, 26 touchdowns to only 13 interceptions, while completing over 63% of his passes. And in 2015, he was second in the NFL in touchdown passes behind Tom Brady with 35. And
there you go.
I mean, really, he hasn't had an offensive line or a running game to really help balance out the offense. And
I mean, he really hasn't had an offensive line for 4 seasons, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's been on him. I mean,
4 years.
And this year, I mean, the crazy thing is he's one of the best deep ball passers this year. He's the 10th rated quarterback on passes on 20 yards or more, and he has the highest completion percentage of any of those quarterbacks in the top 10. And I mean, he has the 10th most completions, 9th most pass attempts. He's been sacked the most in he's been sacked the most in the NFL over the last 5 years. He was on pace to be sacked nearly 60 times going into the bye week.
There you go. And I mean, Dak is leading the league in taking sacks right now, but I'll be quick to say most of those sacks are on him. I've heard him tell his linemen, hey, that sack was on me, man. I held it too long. That was on me. Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll learn as he goes, get that ball out quicker. He's only, 23, 24 years old?
24 years old, man. He's got to trust himself. I mean, what young football players come into the NFL, drafted out of the 4th round, who start out trusting themselves? Not too many.
Yeah,
not too many.
He's just got to let it rip. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I say, show me a 6th round draft choice at quarterback who comes into the league and wins 5 Super Bowls over 2 decades, and I'll show you Tom Brady. There ain't but one Tom Brady.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Tom Brady, Eli gets picked. Eli's been they've been on him so bad for checking down and dumping the ball off. But yet Tom Brady makes a living out of it. And if you look at Tom Brady's stats this season, they're almost identical to Eli Manning's.
I'm with you.
They're both completing 66% of their passes. Eli averages 264 yards a game. Brady averages 284. Brady has 24 touchdowns. Eli has 18. I mean, other than the touchdowns, which Brady has, 6 more, their numbers are identical. It's just Patriots just run a better system than the Giants offensively. The Giants just don't execute well enough.
Right. And they can't really execute well enough right now. They just don't have all the parts.
No. And
but the points are coming.
The first half of the season, Saquon Barkley, as great as he was leading the NFL in negative yards rushing. He was experiencing contact faster than any other running back in the NFL. He was only getting about 14 carries a game, prior to the bye week. And he was constantly bouncing runs to the outside. So he'd have 2, 3, maybe 4 good runs, but the rest would be 2 yards or less.
Right. And he was bouncing it like a little league running back does when they first start out. They always try to bounce everything outside.
And during the bye week, Coach Shermer challenged him and showed him tape the Vikings running backs from the year before and challenged them to run more between the tackles. And you saw ever since the bye week, it's been a more consistent run game. The last 2 weeks, they've done a good job of stopping him, but they've been able to run the ball better. Eli's getting more protection because they've been able to run the ball. It's just I wish they would have executed like this to start the season, but
yeah, it would have helped a lot.
Yeah, because I think Eli has at least one more year in him, but he does need the help. He does need the running game.
Yeah, he definitely. Like he's in a position where his brother was and where Elway was.
Yeah.
At the end of man, I mean, they need all of the parts.
Yeah.
To really be able to do what they can do.
Because if they draft a quarterback and the quarterback don't pan out this year, you set your franchise back 5 years, and then you waste Odell's prime years and probably the best years of Saquon Barkley's if you miss on the quarterback. And
That's right.
I think the 2020 draft is a little bit more deeper in quarterbacks than this one coming up.
I do too. I think there are some younger guys that are. Yeah, I like that quarterback out of Georgia. Goodness, I can't remember that kid.
What's his name?
Oh yeah, Fromm. That's him.
Yeah.
I really like
that.
That.
And Herbert, I'm not sold on him from Oregon just yet. I haven't really seen on him.
I'm not sold on him, and I'm not sold on the West Virginia guy either.
Greer, right?
Yeah, I like that Washington State kid though.
What's his name?
The Washington State kid. Let's see. He played last night. Oh, what is his name?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name, but yeah, is he the one with the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been impressive this year. I caught a couple of games. He's real impressive.
Yeah, he's really a good player, and I think that his game can transition to the league. Gardner Minshew, that's the guy.
And the Giants going into this draft, though, I mean, defensively, they can't pressure the quarterback. They can't stop the run. They got so much work to do on that front seven that, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean...
Well, let me ask you this. As a true Giants fan, can you tell me the last time you had a real linebacker?
Antonio Pierce.
And what is he? Is he going to the Hall of Fame?
No. But he was instrumental in that Super Bowl run, but the last great linebacker was Taylor, Banks, and even one of my favorites, Gary Reasons.
Right. And to me, the Giants haven't really had a strong LB core. Yeah, and they won 2 Super Bowls without a strong LB core. But I think that if you're able to get you some, 2 or 3 good LBs or a really strong middle guy, oh my goodness.
Yeah, because Alex Ogletree, he's set to be the 3rd highest paid linebacker next year. And I think PFF has him rated as the 72nd best linebacker this year. And you can't pay him the kind of money he's going to make next year if he's not a top 10 linebacker. I mean, they had to take him out. They had to take him out of pass coverage after the bye week. He was just too vulnerable in the pass coverage.
But his strength is his speed.
Yeah, but he was getting burned.
So why is he covering when he should be putting pressure on the quarterback?
That's the thing. Our defensive coordinator, he's known as a guy who blitzes, but with the lack of pressure that the front gets, he hasn't been blitzing as much.
I'm thinking put Ogletree's hand on the ground on 3rd and long and let him go get the quarterback. Let somebody, get you a young guy who can get out there and cover at least the middle of the field. But put Ogletree's hand on the ground and let him use that speed to get around that corner.
Yeah, and we got Landon Collins as a free agent. I hope we can keep him. I mean, he's a liability in the pass coverage, but he's a beast at the line of scrimmage.
I don't necessarily know that he's a liability, Rob. I think Landon is an emotional player.
True.
And when things aren't going great, you're not going to see his best. If you think about it, when you guys have had success since he came along, in the games where y'all were playing good football, he stood out.
Yeah,
he stood out.
I thought he was going to, I think what was it, 2016. I mean, he was going to talk for defensive player of the year.
Yes. He was incredible.
Yeah.
He was incredible, but you start losing, people start getting hurt, people start leaving in free agency. You can see his play.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, that's how he is.
You're right, yeah.
You got to think about it like this, man. These guys are going to work, right?
Yeah.
This is their job. And, I mean, it's like, I don't know what kind of job you do, but, I work in a contact center, a call center. So when I go to work and the squad is vibing and we're electric and we're helping our customers and getting a bunch of kudos, I'm at my best.
Yeah.
But when we're getting, people are talking bad to us or, we keep messing up, causing billing issues, the team, the performance drops.
Yeah, the vibe, and I give Sherman credit because he's doing a good job of slowly turning around the culture of that team. And I'm anxious to see how it is next season.
Well, I think that you guys can get past Philly before Philly gets out of this little window they currently have.
Yeah, Philly. I was gonna ask you before. Out of all the teams in the NFC East, which team do you hate the most? For me, it's the Eagles. I can't stand the Eagles.
I'd have to say I hate the Eagles the most too, man. I can't. I mean, I don't want to say it because one of my old classmates, Chris Wilson, is the D-line coach.
Oh,
and I'm proud and happy for him, but I can't stand those Eagles, man.
Yeah, my grandfather, may he rest in peace, he was a diehard Eagles fan, but my God, I just can't stand it. And we should have beaten them that last game. We had a 19-3 lead. Our defense gave up 3 games this year on us. We should be 8-7. I mean, we should have beaten the Panthers, we should have beaten the Colts, and we should have beaten the Eagles the last time.
I agree, but again, there's that Landon Collins thing. In all of those 3 games, you didn't get to see him at his best because he usually makes those game-changing plays at that time, but he didn't do it over these last 3.
And also, I don't know if Jenkins, if Jenkins and him had a miscommunication on a few plays this year. Jenkins is, he's gotten beaten a couple times this year that hurts. I mean, that first Cowboys game, he got beat right out of the gate.
Yeah, but, little dog is fast.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, Janoris is a beast, but that little dude, and it's messed up because little guy, oh my goodness, what's his name? Number 10, from the Rams, the fast guy. Tavon Austin.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
He's been out since we since we beat Detroit.
No kidding. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's been out for what? 8, 9, he's been out 10 games.
I tell you, the receiver I really like for the Cowboys is Cole Beasley. I mean, I like him. I really like him.
I don't like Cole, man. I mean, do I think he has ability? Do I think he has skill? Do I think he has talent? Yes.
Yeah.
But Cole is a little bit cocky. And I guess you got to be if you're that small, right? You got to be a little cocky.
Got to be a little.
But a little bit. But check this out, man. Against Indy, Dak hits him with a, I don't know if it was a curl route or what. I think he just sat down in the middle of the zone. Dak hit him in the chest. The ball tipped up in the air. Beasley just dropped his arms and stops.
Jesus.
Then when he realizes, oh, the ball's still in the air, then he goes after it.
Yeah, I've seen him drop a touchdown pass this year that hurt him.
Yeah, what's that? The Edelman from New England. If that ball tipped up in the air, if it tipped up in the air for him, he would have looked for the ball and went and got it. Beasley stopped and dropped his arms like, oh, here we go, and then it almost got intercepted. I'm like, dude, play the whole play. Don't play half the play, man.
No. And do you think the Cowboys are going to rest any of their starters this Sunday?
You know, I think the first two quarters are going to go full out, but I do think as the second half starts and the game starts to wind down, they'll start pulling some guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if, they start out with the lead and then end up losing it late because they got backups on the field.
True. But I like the Cowboys' chances. I mean, I don't know how far they're going to go in the playoffs, but I like their defense, and I love their running game, and you need that in the postseason. They got the home game to start, and then they go on the road. But like I said, I think they can take care of Seattle. Who they play next, I'm not sure. I'm not sure right now. But I like.
Go ahead.
Look what they did to the Saints. I mean, they can compete with the best in the NFC. So they could make some noise.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a defensive guy by nature.
Yeah.
And, I know we've got a good D. I do think sometimes that Coach Marinelli tries to ask them to do things they physically can't do. And I think he does that. They usually get beat for it. But I think we got the people on defense to make plays and to keep people out of the end zone. But offensively, man, I just feel like, again, it's Zeke and Amari and Dak.
Yeah.
I think Dak needs to run more.
That's a winning formula. I mean, you go back to the old, the 90s with Aikman, Smith, and Irvin. You got those kind of weapons. You can make things happen.
Right, but Aikman was a pocket passer.
Yeah.
See, Dak is really not a pocket passer. He needs to take pride in becoming a scrambler.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a tug of war going on between him and himself about that. I just think that he's reluctant to let people call him a scrambler.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, look at Russell Wilson. I mean, even Rodgers will scramble when he has to.
No way. One of the greatest scramblers of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomasberger is an amazing scrambler. They call him a pocket passer, but he's a scrambler.
Yeah. And I think the worst thing Robert Griffin III did was try to become a pocket passer. He did not want to be a scrambler.
Yes, it was. You're absolutely right there, big guy.
I mean, that first year he was dynamic.
He really was.
Yeah.
He was dynamic with his arm and with his legs.
What's that?
I said he was dynamic with his arm and his legs.
Oh yeah, I mean he could throw a ball with ease, 50, 60 yards with ease. Just a
no problem. No problem.
I mean, and talk about world-class speed. I mean, he had it. I mean, I think he played track at Baylor, right? Something like that.
He did. He ran track. I mean, a dude could score from 80. The quarterback could score from 80.
and I'm a Johnny Manziel fan, and I've been watching him in the CFL. It took him a while to adjust. He got traded to another team. The first game went bad, but he got better and better and better. And I think he's going to have a great year next year in the CFL. Do you think if he has a great year, you'll see him back in the NFL, even as a backup?
I do think he'll get a chance, man. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up coming to Dallas because, number one,
I know he would love to have a star on his helmet.
Absolutely. I mean, even if he had to go down to Houston, I think he'd go.
Yeah.
But I do think I'm a Johnny Manziel fan with you. I think that the dude.
I was high on him coming out of college. I thought he had the tools. I mean, he had the highest completion percentage from the pocket coming out of that draft class. And
he's a cylinder.
He's just he was so gifted. It's just that party life. He had his priorities completely screwed up.
I mean, what 20, 21, 22-year-old doesn't have their priorities completely screwed up?
Yeah, right. And plus, with the Heisman at 19?
I mean, come on, dude. Like, all the most beautiful chicks in the world are calling your name.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot to put on a young man.
Yeah, it is. And there's
I'm not making
really
any excuses or anything for him, but that's just reality.
It is. I mean, there's stories you hear these old NFL players say, when they check into a hotel, there are women sitting in the lobby waiting for them.
Wait.
It's Candyland.
And they're not average-looking women.
No.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's hard, and you don't really have too many. You don't really have anything to help these young kids. I mean, they have orientation to warn you about it, but no one really to help guide you through, unless someone takes you under their wing.
Because when you actually see it the first time, you're like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, like everybody else, I think these guys, grow up like everybody else.
Yeah.
We can't expect them to grow up way faster than us because they have talent and they get a fat contract.
Yeah,
but
it's unrealistic. I mean, some people, they put on the image, and others are just who they are. I mean, I like what Charles Barkley said that time. I'm not a role model.
That's right.
Some guys
want to be. Yeah, unfortunately, the fans, the working class Americans, the working class people, we put those people on a pedestal and make them role models, but they're really just people.
Yeah. I mean, I met Jason Peters, who used to play for the Giants, who doesn't play anymore, but I mean, I was sitting next to him at the bar for like 15 minutes. It's going back years ago. I didn't even know it, but he was just a normal, nice dude. And people, he looked intimidating on TV and football, but he was just a cool dude.
There you go. He's just a regular old guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they just happen to do that for work. We go in and punch a clock, but if you notice that I don't know if you kept up with what the Giants have been doing throughout the holidays or throughout the season just on their off days, but if you notice on NFL players' off days, they're still working.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not necessarily be at the field house doing football stuff, but they're going to elementary schools at 8 o'clock in the morning, sitting and reading to kindergarten classes, and, helping the poor. And I mean, they're doing all kind of stuff, and then they got to go to work.
Yeah, I mean, Giants, I will say they do a lot of stuff for the community, a lot. And Eli Manning, he won Walter Payton of the Year award 2 years ago with Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he does an amazing job with cancer research.
There you go. And that's this year's nominee for the Cowboys.
Who's nominated this year?
I know Dak is for the Cowboys.
Okay.
I really don't know who is for the Giants, but Dak is for the Cowboys. And because the dude just gives back. 24-year-old. Now he's level-headed, but I mean he lost his mom at a young age.
Yeah, and that's tough at that age.
That makes you good. I lost my mom on December 4th.
This year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That's like my mother right now is battling all kinds of illnesses. I mean, she's got heart disease. She's got issues with her colon and thyroid, and her blood level's so low. I mean, it's just one thing after another, and doctor says if she doesn't start taking care of herself, she's not going to see a year. And that kind of hit her.
I understand, man. That's sometimes taking care of yourself is the toughest thing to do. And when when you're a young guy like Dak was when he lost his mom, I'm pretty sure he had to mature quicker than most.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry about your mom. That's rough.
I understand, man. Cancer is a killer, and I hate cancer. Lost my stepfather in February, so.
No kidding.
Yeah, man. Cancer's a killer.
My aunt, she's been battling stage 3 lung cancer, never smoked a cigarette in her life, but she's been battling for over a year, God bless her. But like you said, I fucking hate cancer.
I do too, man. I tell anybody who's dealing with it to just fight it. Just fight it as hard as you can. Because it's gonna do its thing. But if you can give it some of that pain it's giving you, it's worth it, man. It's worth it because you don't just sit back and let it get you. Give it a fight.
Like you said, keep fighting.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at Dak's first 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
The guy's completing 66%. He's got 63 TDs and 25 picks. And he's won 31 games. He's 31-16 in 3 seasons.
Wow. And it's like this year he's ace in completion percentage. He's completing over 68% of his passes.
But Cowboys fans want him gone.
Yeah, that's great. Who are they going to replace him with? Here's a hypothetical. Have you heard that the Lions are considering shopping Matthew Stafford in the offseason?
I haven't, but let's look at Matt for a second.
Yeah.
Let's look at him for just a second. One thing I'll say about him and one thing I'll say about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
They've never been the difference.
No.
And they never will be. Even when Matt won his state title. Even when Stafford won his state title, he was not the difference in between the win and the loss.
No, he puts up numbers, but like you said, he's not the difference. And Kirk Cousins, he's got to beat Chicago in order for the Vikings to get into the playoffs. And I put my money on Chicago to win.
And he's going to give them the ball at least 2 times.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, he had to beat the Giants. In 2016, the Giants already clinched a playoff spot and had nothing to play for. And Kurt, all the Redskins had to do was win, and they got in the playoffs. And Kurt turned the ball over like 2 or 3 times in that game.
There you go.
Every time he's big game, he doesn't step up. And they gave him $4 million.
He's never the difference, and he got $84 million.
Guaranteed too. I mean, that's just crazy.
Cat can't get a phone call.
That's like, do you think Dak and the Cowboys will work out a contract extension, or do you think they'll wind up franchise tagging him?
It really depends on what they end up doing with D-Lo, man, with DeMarcus Lawrence. Yeah. Because there are some contracts that they actually need to re-up. They got some people that they still need to re-sign. So I suspect they'll go to Dak with a contract extension offer first.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing he won't poo-poo it. I'm guessing he won't blow it off because, I mean, let's look at that. This is this is home.
Yeah, and they're win. I mean, this will be the second time in how many years that he took the team to the playoffs? Twice in 3 years, something like that.
He won the division twice in 3 years, bro. No other starting Cowboys quarterback has done that.
Yeah, and like you could throw the stats out the window. Is he a winner or not? And they're winning with them. You know?
They're winning with them, 31-16. 31-16 is a pretty good record. If they win tomorrow, it's 32-16.
Yeah.
And if we want to look at his one playoff performance, the one game he played in the playoffs, this guy
almost brought him back.
He did bring him back. We tied the game, bro.
Yeah.
If Aaron doesn't throw a miraculous pass, has a miraculous catch, and the kicker kicks a miraculous field goal that starts going to the wide left and curves back to the right, indoors, and it comes off his foot, it's going left and curves back to the right inside, dog.
You know,
how does that?
I mean, I think he's really talented, Rodgers, but he just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know if it's because he comes off arrogant or what, but he doesn't seem like a real leader to me.
No, he really doesn't. Yeah, I mean, but you gotta look at where he's come from, dude. First off, he was probably physically more talented than Brett, but he had to sit for 4 seasons behind Brett.
Yeah, and Brett kept retiring and then unretiring.
Then he gets the job, and in his first, 3 seasons, they win a bowl as a starter, the bona fide starter. They win a bowl, but you don't give him anything to work with?
Yeah, that's true. They really haven't done much to build around him. It's all on his shoulders. That is true.
I'd be a little bit pompous myself, dude.
Yeah.
But in that first playoff game against Aaron Rodgers, he goes 24 of 38, 3 touchdowns, 302 yards, and 1 pick.
Damn.
And he loses that game.
Ain't his fault they lost.
He was a rookie, dude.
Yeah.
He was a rookie.
Yeah, going back to Aaron Rodgers, I remember that draft. I mean, I thought Aaron was going to go number 1. I liked him a lot more than I liked Alex Smith, and then I couldn't believe how Aaron dropped all the way down to Green Bay. That shocked me.
Yeah. I shocked everybody.
And I remember the 2004 draft. I liked Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, then Phillip Rivers. And my friend who was a diehard Steelers fan, he was upset that they picked him. I'm like, dude, no, I've seen him play. Trust me, you probably got the steal of the draft with Big Ben. And he's turned out to be a great quarterback. But it's amazing how those 3 guys' stats are almost identical.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
I mean, top 10 all time in yards, touchdowns, and completions.
Crazy. So, A-Rod, I think Aaron's first season as a full-time starter was 2008, the 2008 season. He played in all 16. They went 6-10. He had 28 TDs, 13 picks. He comes back the next year. He plays all 16. They go 11-5. He has 30 TDs and 7 picks.
He's 150. He's 100 wins and only 56 losses in his career.
Dude's cold, man. Dude's cold. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what he says. Dude is cold. Period.
338 touchdowns. Jesus Christ.
Dude's
in only 164 games.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'd be a little pissed off too my team is owned by the whole community, right? The community owns the Packers.
That's true.
You don't give me any pieces, but you want me to go. You want me to take you back to the playoffs and take you back to the Super Bowl.
Jesus. And I wonder who their head coach is going to be next year. But they got to start putting pieces around him for them to be to be successful. I mean, that division's starting to get tough, the NFC North.
That division is scary, dude, because the Vikings are always going to stay in the hunt, even with the never the difference Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
Yeah. What's your take on Trubisky?
Yeah, I think he's a good little young quarterback. I think he's coming along. He's going to be what he's going to be.
Yeah,
I think
I didn't know he could scramble as good as he does. I just thought he was a pocket passer, and then he's running around making plays, and I've been impressed with him so far.
Absolutely, his mobility is really up there. His mobility is on A-Rod's level to me.
Yeah.
As far as how he moves and gets away from pressure. I do think he has the occasional brain fart, like any second-year starter is going to have, but I don't see a reason to go away from him anytime soon.
No. Yeah.
And if the Lions do move Matthew, then here come the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, and Joe Flacco is going to be a free agent this year too. And there might be some quarterback, and who knows what the Giants are going to do with Eli. There could be some big-name quarterbacks out there this year in the free agent market. But
I think was it you that said that Odell wants Eli to come back for 19?
I would like to see him come back. I still think he has one more year in him. He could still throw the football. I mean, he's one of the best deep ball passers. He has the highest completion percentage of his career, the highest passer rating of his career. He's going to throw for over 4,000 yards again. Statistically, he's having a good year, except for the touchdowns are a little bit low this year. But that's the result.
The one blip on the what?
The touchdowns, I mean, the first half of the season they had trouble scoring in the red zone, but they couldn't run the football. And it's hard to punch that ball in the end zone if teams know you're throwing it. Yeah,
I'm with you there. Now, the biggest blip on his radar, though, if you look at his career winning percentage, the guy's 116 and 113, dude.
Yeah, I know. But when I look back on it, he's never been on a great Giant team. He's been on a couple of good teams that made a couple Super Bowl runs, but he's never had a Hall of Fame player on offense. Mm-hmm. I mean, OBJ might go to Hall of Fame one day, Saquon, but otherwise he's never had a bona fide Hall of Famer like a lot of these other quarterbacks have had over their career.
That's true, man. Another really good thing about him is he's been available.
Yeah, I mean, what's that saying? The best ability is availability. I mean, he's been there every Sunday. I mean, I remember, I think it was 2007, he had a partially separated right shoulder, and doctors told him he was going to miss 8 weeks, and he was back out the next week. They lost to Green Bay, but I mean, he played with a bad shoulder, a broken nose. He had plantar fasciitis, which is like they say, like having razor blades in your heel, and he played a full season on that. I mean,
did not miss a game.
Nope, as tough as they come. But the Giants fan this year, they've been unbelievably cruel. I mean, against Tampa Bay, he went 17 of 18 and threw for 231 with 2 touchdowns, had a perfect quarterback rating. But the next day they were saying how he looked horrible. He had 1 incompletion, but yet he looked horrible. And against Washington, he was 14 of 22 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. But yet again, the critics were he looked horrible. And I don't get it. I mean, I know he's not the same guy he was, but he doesn't appear completely washed up to me just yet.
You know, I'm with you on that, man. He's not. The one thing that's really cool about the dude is from 2005 to 2016, he never missed a game, man.
Yeah, and he should have never been benched last year for Geno Smith. I mean, I could see it if it was going to be Davis Webb they're going to put in, but we, being from New York, we had a front row seat for Geno Webb for 4 years. We knew what he was capable of, and to bench Eli for him, especially with that streak,
Right.
upset a lot of fans.
I'm sure.
That's
I'm
why
sure.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they turned on him this year. They were all for him last year, and now all of a sudden this year they just turned on him, and they did so almost right away this year.
It goes back to instant gratification. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
People nowadays need instant success. Like a loss in a competitive game isn't considered successful anymore.
Yeah.
And where I come from the day and age I come from, man, that's how you grew hair on your chest.
Yeah.
You got hair on your chest from eating hot peppers. You got hair on your chest from taking a beating and coming back from it. But these guys nowadays, man, if you lose, you're trash. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 43 years old, 42 or 43. I'm one of those. But I remember watching the games back in the 80s, early 90s. Guys took a pounding. I remember when Joe Montana, when Leonard Marshall put that hit on him. I mean, good God. I mean, quarterbacks took a pounding back in the day.
Often, but then, Joe loses his job. After that, I mean, they let him play against the Lions on a Monday night to finish it off, but he loses his job. Then he goes to an also-ran in KC and takes them to back-to-back championship games.
I mean, that was impressive, taking that team, what he did. I mean, I still consider him right up there as the GOAT. I think Tom Brady's right below him, in my opinion. My opinion.
Yeah.
Joe Montana never lost the Super Bowl.
I'm a Joe Montana guy, all right?
Yeah.
But after I saw Brady win his fifth, I had to put him over Joe. See, Joe never lost a Super Bowl, but Joe never played in 8 Super Bowls, man.
That's true. That's a valid point.
Brady did. And he won 5 of them.
Yeah. And there's only 3 quarterbacks to ever throw 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl. One is Joe Montana, the second is Tom Brady, and the third is Eli Manning.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those guys are pretty incredible. And, I mean,
yeah,
everybody's talking all this trash about Eli, but truth be told, man, Eli has always been clutch for the Giants when they needed him the most.
Yeah, I've never seen a quarterback raise the level of play in the postseason like I have with Eli. I mean, you get average Eli during the year, but you put him in the postseason, and anything can happen.
He made, honestly, to me, he has proven to be a better postseason player than his brother. And that's saying a lot because Peyton got to the postseason a lot. But we always knew Peyton was going to fold.
True. Yeah. He just,
we always knew.
For whatever reason. And Eli, in those 2 Super Bowl runs, he had 15 touchdown passes to only 2 interceptions. In those 8 games.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's
so
like...
People can say what they want to about the dude. The dude is good. Special.
Yeah. I have to stay out of these Facebook groups because, I mean, you got people wanting to bring in Teddy Bridgewater and draft a quarterback and have Teddy Bridgewater be... I mean, there all this talk about bringing in another veteran quarterback. Just keep Eli for a year, and if you draft a quarterback, fine. But I think you should stick with Eli for at least let him finish his contract out. He's got 1 year left.
How old is Eli?
He's
How old is he?
37. He'll be 38 in January.
Yeah, he can still play football.
Yeah,
I like Teddy B, but
yeah.
Teddy B has to show me he can play 16 before I'm on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and that knee injury, he got lucky. I mean, that knee injury ends your career most of the time, and he was very lucky. You know, and I think he's getting the start this Sunday for the Saints, so we'll get to see what he's capable of. I think he's a quality quarterback.
Quality,
I mean,
but
yeah, he was improving with Minnesota those first couple of years. He was getting better and better, and then he got hurt.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm. I agree. But can he play 16? That's my question.
Yeah. And
if you're not available, I don't need you.
And what worries me today when you got with these mobile quarterbacks, the injuries. You know, a lot of these quarterbacks are getting like Carson Wentz. He's missing the rest of the year now because of a bad back, broken vertebrae. And if Nick Foles gets him into the playoffs, I'll be livid.
Yeah. I mean, Carson, man, I personally feel like the jury is still out on Carson, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Do I think he's a good football player? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's fortunate that he has a Super Bowl ring now.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him do it.
No.
I mean, Eli's record is 8-4 in the postseason.
Yeah.
The only time that he didn't advance to a Super Bowl in the postseason was those 4 losses when he didn't get out the first round.
Yeah, and that last playoff in 2016, he was the only one that showed up on offense. He came out slinging that football, but his receivers, they were dropping the passes. Odell dropped a touchdown pass. Shepard dropped a touchdown pass. I mean, it could have been a whole different game if the receivers in that first half just caught the football. But
Agreed.
At least Eli,
I think those receivers were still on the boat.
What's that?
But I think those receivers were still on the boat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I mean, just from a PR. I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, the optics of it. Just young. Yeah.
Just young. I mean, we just talked about young and dumb, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just young. I mean, look at what Tony Romo did on the bye week in 2007.
Oh, yeah, and what was it, down in Cabo or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jessica Simpson and freaking the tight end. You know,
Jason
I mean, Jason Witt with the Cabo. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bye week isn't supposed to be a vacation, man.
And and that boat trip, they had the day off. I mean, it wasn't like they were doing anything wrong. It was their day off. They didn't have to come in. But,
Agreed.
But the optics just didn't look too good.
And then, I mean, for them to be playing a kind of a cold weather game.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure you really want to go to Miami and not feel the cold before you go play in the cold? Okay.
I still remember that 2007 NFC Championship game in Green Bay with Brett Favre. You could tell Brett Favre just wanted to get off the field. He was so cold.
He was tired. He was done.
Mm-hmm.
When he threw the pick? You talking about when he threw that pick?
Oh, yeah. I was ecstatic. I mean, that season was just incredible. I mean, and in 2012 or 2011, Justin Tuck even said Eli Manning probably should have won the MVP because the Giants' running game, I think, ranked dead last in the NFL that year. And Eli carried them. And against San Francisco, I mean, he took a beating in that championship game. He got sacked six times and was hit and knocked down 16 times. I mean, he took a beating. Bill Parcells even said that's the day he became an Eli Manning fan, was watching that game against San Francisco, him taking a beating. He threw 58 passes that game with no turnovers.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm quiet as the cat, man. When y'all played the Patriots twice, I was cheering for y'all, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, they kind of like changed the course of history in 2007. I mean, Patriots were undefeated, were blowing out teams, and Giants derailed their perfect season. I mean, and
the 72 Dolphins popped some champagne.
Yeah, and they only played 14 games back then, right?
Yeah, that's it. They only played 14.
Yeah.
But for them to go undefeated and Brady and them to fall short, oh, it's still a celebration.
That pass of Eli, though, when he I don't know how he didn't get sacked, and then to throw a Hail Mary in the middle of the field, oh, man.
107, David Tyree?
Yeah, the helmet catch.
Tyree? That was one of the greatest plays in the history of the league.
Once he came down, everyone knew they were winning that game. I mean, that's just magical. Yeah.
One of the coolest things about that game was they go down to the sideline. They got the boom mics out there, and my big boy 92 Strahan is saying 17-14. 17-14 will be the final score of this game. Mark my words. And I'm going, man, they fixing to do it. And they did. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's like Strahan said. It was like someone wrote a script just for him. All those years he put in. They went to the Super Bowl in 2000 and got blown out by the Ravens. He never thought he'd get back to one. He wasn't even sure he was going to come back for that season, and did. I mean, that's how you want to go out.
That's how you want to go out, man. And then the pass in 2011 by Eli to Manningham.
Oh, my God. That was probably his best throw ever. And it
was
a perfect throw, needed a perfect catch, but I think that was his best throw of his career. I mean, he put that on the money.
I'm with you. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I take pride in beating him these days. I love that my young quarterback, Dak Prescott, got him in the first matchup. I want him to get him this tomorrow at noon.
What's that?
I said I love that my quarterback, Dak Prescott, got him in the first matchup this year, and I want him to get him tomorrow at noon.
I'd like to see the Giants go out on a high note, but Dallas's offense worries me because we can't stop the run, and that run sets up, ever since they got Cooper, their passing game has been great, especially with the run. So hopefully.
What bothers me, though, about these last two games is I feel like those last two games, I feel like they outsmarted themselves and really tried to use Cooper as a decoy.
Really? I didn't catch the Cowboys games the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the targets for Michael, what's the rookie? Gallup. The targets for Gallup were more than Cooper.
What do you think of? Do you think he's going to be a good player?
Michael Gallup?
Yeah.
I think Michael Gallup is the reason why we'll never see Terrence Williams in a Cowboys jersey again.
Oh, that's cool.
I hate to say Terrence has to go, but I think Michael Gallup makes him expendable.
If the Cowboys happen to lose and, they're one and done, do you think Jason Garrett should be fired?
That's one thing that I've prided myself on these last few years. I'm never going to call for another grown man's job.
Yeah.
Unless they get caught up in like a sexual harassment scandal or something like that. But my honest answer is no, because the biggest thing for me with Jason is he's a Cowboy. He knows the Cowboys. He bleeds blue, and ultimately he wants the young men in his locker room to experience greatness. And I think a lot of people don't want to give him credit for that, but I truly believe he wants what's best for those guys.
Yeah, and he's been around. He was with those good Cowboys. I actually met, this is a cool story, in Seabright there's a rec center. I used to play basketball all the time. Even when I was like a teenager, I played with the men. And Jason Garrett had a friend that lived in Monmouth Beach, and he came to the rec center and gave his friend a jersey signed by Deion Sanders. And he wound up playing a quick pickup game. I didn't get to play against him, but he was there for like almost an hour. But yeah, showed up with the Deion Sanders jersey signed to give to his friend. I think he had a house in Monmouth Beach for a time being. But yeah, I forgot about that. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean he's an East Coast guy, but he knows Dallas, and the thing that I really find is his strength as a coach is that he treats the players like men, which they are men. They're grown men.
That's true, yeah.
They don't have to be babysat. He's not going to get up in front of the media and say all kind of bad things about him or to him. He's going to get him in his office and he's going to talk bad to him, talk shit to him there.
Yeah,
you know?
the right way.
Like he doesn't, and the media here hates him because he doesn't give them anything. But they love Belichick for not giving them anything.
Yeah. But that's I don't know how many years it's been. Last few years they've been harping on Jason Garrett should be fired when Marvin Lewis hasn't won a playoff game in I don't know how many years.
Marvin Lewis hadn't won jack in I don't know how many years.
I mean, I have a feeling. I think he might be gone after this year.
What, has it been 15 years already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's look at the most winningest, the Super Bowl winningest franchise in NFL history, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
The fact that they've only had 3 coaches in their whole history, it says a lot, man.
Yeah. But Steelers game when they lost a couple weeks ago, they were calling for Tomlin's head that he should be fired.
I really think that's a media-driven mindset, man. I think that the media takes pride in what they feel like they're doing. They feel like they're manipulating teams into making knee-jerk decisions.
Yeah.
But
I agree with
truth be told, man, I'm gonna call for a grown man's job. I'm gonna call for a grown media man's job because some of those guys are outright disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, some of these media guys, the beat reporters in New York, I mean, they're ruthless. And I'll give Eli credit. He sits down and he talks with them regardless, even though they tear him apart in the paper.
Yeah, and I mean they talk so bad about these guys every day, and it's almost like the media and the fans really feel like we want to win more than the guys who go out there and get banged on Sundays want to win.
Yeah, I mean, a hit in the NFL is equivalent to like what, a 25, 30 mile an hour car accident. I mean, these guys take a pounding on Sundays.
And you don't think they want to win?
Yeah. I mean, the hardest thing to do is win it in the NFL.
The hardest thing to do is win a game in the NFL.
Yeah.
One game.
Yep.
But you want me to go win? You want me to go win more than the majority of 16, and then you want me to go win the ultimate game, and you want me to do it every season?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
The Patriots have been lucky enough to get to the Super Bowl more than anyone, but I mean, you're not going to see that again, I don't think.
But if we want to talk about the Patriots for a minute, like I come from an era where the Patriots were a laughing stock.
Yeah, Remember that?
For more than 23 years.
Yeah.
But people want to talk about us not getting our sixth Super Bowl in 23 years. Like it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I can think of whole franchises who haven't won anything in 50 plus, including the Philadelphia Eagles, who took, 66 years to get their first.
Yeah. The Browns last won, back in the 50s with Jim Brown?
Yeah, but that was a world championship. I'm talking about in the straight-up Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Since the game has become as big as it's become.
And the Jets, they haven't won since Joe Namath.
1970.
Yeah. What do you think of Sam Darnold? I'd like him, but I think there's some flaws in his game that's going to hurt him in his career.
Yeah, I do too. I think he'll be like Matt Stafford 2.0.
Yeah, because he has one of the worst passer ratings outside the pocket, if you can believe that. It's one of the worst. And
he makes phenomenal throws.
Yeah, and if you keep him in the pocket and get pressure on him, he makes bad decisions with the football. You know,
but if they can build a team around defense and get them a really, really great runner,
yeah,
I think he could be the difference.
Yeah, because I like Baker coming out with Sam Darnold behind him and Josh Rosen third. Josh Allen, to me, was a wild card.
I think he's going to probably be the best out of the group.
He's got some athletic ability and a cannon for an arm. I mean,
that dude's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, who's the veteran in his locker room, in his QB room?
Oof. I know they signed Matt Barkley. But other than that, I don't know who else, what other quarterback they have in that room. Oh wait, the guy from Carolina, Derek Anderson.
If they can keep Matt, if they can get another vet, if they can get somebody like I hate to say, what's that guy that was never really any good? He backed up Eli for a year. From West Virginia.
Geno Smith? Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
Geno.
Yeah, Geno.
Yeah, Geno Smith.
If they can get Geno in that room, if they can get Geno in that room, keep Matt in that room, and keep Josh just to help with the mental aspect of the game, because a lot of these quarterbacks can't really physically do it, but they understand it from a mental aspect.
Yeah, and plus he really doesn't have any weapons on the outside. I mean, they thought Kelvin Benjamin would help, but they wound up cutting him. He drops more passes than he catches. I mean, so they need to get him on the outside. You still there?
Yeah, you hear me?
No, yeah, I hear you now.
LaShawn McCoy is his tailback, right?
Yeah.
LaShawn,
he's injured a lot.
He's on his way out.
Yeah.
So if he gets a young tailback and a stud receiver, you better watch out for Josh Allen, man. That dude is special.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, they were saying how he wasn't accurate coming out of college, this and that, but, I mean, he's just gifted with talent. I mean, you could see it.
I mean, he may not be accurate right now.
Yeah,
but if you
time.
Yes, there you go, time.
I mean, Brett Favre wasn't the most accurate quarterback coming out of college, but look how he turned out.
The coach for the Falcons used to joke. We used to talk bad about Brett every day at practice. Talk so bad about him, he traded him.
I heard a story about him. They were talking about defenses and the nickel, And Brett Favre went to Ty Detmer as backup, and he's like, "What's this nickel I keep hearing?" And Ty Detmer's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's a nickelback?" And he's like, "It's an extra defender in the backfield." And Brett was like, "Oh, I mean, he didn't. I mean, Brett Favre. I mean, he was able to do wonders with not knowing everything right away."
Right. But right now, instant gratification. We gotta be in the playoffs. We gotta have a Super Bowl, or we're trash.
Yeah.
Or we're trash.
I mean, quarterbacks, they really don't get time to develop these days, and it's unfair.
No, it's worse than unfair, man. It's not even real sports to me. It's Madden-esque.
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
It's the video game mentality, dog.
I mean, I remember when Eli got drafted, Kurt Warner, we were 5-2, and in a playoff hunt, and they went to Eli, and Eli wound up losing every game that year, but he did go on to go 11-5 the next year, but Kurt Warner got, kind of screwed out of, possibly going to playoffs with the Giants because they wanted to get Eli in there.
He did, but Kirk really wasn't the difference at that point.
No.
I mean, he was making some plays, but even when Arizona went to the Super Bowl with Kirk, I mean, that was just a fantastic year by Kirk.
Yeah,
I have to say that was the difference.
Yeah,
but,
and I believe if Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame because that's the other chatter going on that Eli doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
I don't see why not, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably threw two of the most memorable passes in the history of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, that one pass, the Victor Cruz pass where he threw it, I think, behind Teddy Bruschi, and Victor Cruz came out from behind him and caught it. I mean, that was a great pass.
Great pass.
He had a couple of really good ones.
Yeah, he really did. And I mean, I think he's done more than enough to earn a shot at it. I mean, if some of the quarterbacks who never won a bowl are there, you really got to consider the guys who really were the difference in their two Super Bowls. You got to really consider them.
Yeah, and I mean, Eli, that last one he won it. His receivers were Hakeem Nicks, Victor Cruz, and Mario Manningham. Hakeem Nicks won it number one wide receiver money, and the Giants let him walk. And he signed a one-year deal with Indianapolis, and he started the year third on their depth chart. And by the end of the year, he wasn't even on the field, and he was out of football by the next year. And Mario Manningham left to go to San Francisco for more money, more playing time, and he was out of the league within 2 years. And I think that just shows you what Eli Manning can do with, wide receivers. I do think he makes wide receivers look better than they are, that they have some talent.
I can't argue with you there, man. I can't argue with you there. Well, tomorrow should be a pretty exciting matchup. I think we've touched on most of the key points for tomorrow's battle.
Yeah. Oh, there's one question I wanted to ask you about the Chiefs. Ever since they released Kareem Hunt, do you think that's affected their offense? And do you think they are going to have trouble now in the playoffs against teams with better defenses?
It obviously has affected their offense, man.
Yeah.
It's not the same. When you put the onus between winning and losing on that quarterback, the margin of error becomes real small.
Yeah. I tell you, the Ravens, man, that defense is for real. I mean,
they are.
I thought they were going to beat the Chiefs, and they took care of the Chargers, who I thought were, was probably the most balanced team in the NFL, and they beat them.
I think the Chargers are a little aloof at times, man.
Yeah,
I want to blame that on Phillip.
Yeah, Phillip sometimes his head's not. I don't know. Sometimes he makes a bad turnover at the wrong time.
Yeah, he's going to lose.
Yeah, there's a game this year where he didn't call timeout, and then on fourth down, instead of throwing the ball away, he took a sack. I mean, it cost them the game.
Yep. I just feel like that young quarterback in Kansas City is gonna have to put his big boy pants on, but now he's playing at home, and Kansas City, Missouri is unrelenting in the winter.
Yeah.
Not only does it affect the visitor, it's going to affect the home team.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're talking about a Texas boy in Missouri in the winter playing in the playoffs in the NFL, and he has to carry his team.
Yeah, it gets mighty cold there at nighttime, too, boy. Holy shit.
If he does this, if Mahomes does this, I'll be on the verge of saying, watch out, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You got some competition now.
He has done some special things this year, especially with the stats that he's put up.
Dude, that no-look pass was ridiculous, man.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I had to watch it over and over again. It was so cool. You know, and the one other quarterback for the Rams, Jared Goff, I want to like him. I really do. But I got to see him. I got to see him do something in the postseason.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as that guy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't strike me as though when you really need him to make a play, he's gonna make that play.
Yeah, true.
That's the difference between him and Carson to me. I've seen Carson make the plays in regular season games.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him do it in the postseason, so that's why the jury is still out.
Yeah.
But Goff has been the front runner in most of his games.
Yeah. He struggled there for a few games. You know, he played well his last game, I think. But
Cowboys should have beat him last year.
Yeah. And it's like I think the Cowboys can play with any team, especially in the NFC. I mean, I put a whipping on the Saints.
Yeah, and if you really watch the Saints since that game, every game they've played has been tough.
Yeah.
Since that game, they haven't come out and done this quote-unquote creative offensive stuff and blew people's doors off since that game.
You know, and I'm surprised that the Colts. I don't. What happened? I can't believe the Colts actually shut him out.
I just feel like that day, that came out to prove that he was a pocket passer, and the Colts came out to give him a chance to prove it, and he didn't prove it. Dude, you're a scrambler. You're a scrambler, but you can throw from the pocket. And I guarantee you, when they went back and looked at that film, they know they left 24 points on that field.
Yeah.
So I could say they really went up there to Indianapolis, and it's like a bully, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you pick on the same kid in the third grade for three weeks, and then that fourth week you go to pick on him, and he punches you in the stomach. And you curl up in a little ball and you hit your knees, and he walks off with the girl. You realize right there you can't bully that dude no more.
Yeah.
I just think the Cowboys thought that they were more physical than the Colts, and the Colts were like, "Nah, dog, we've been hitting this week. We finna hit y'all."
That's like the Giants with that Titan game. The Titans came out and punched the Giants right in the mouth from the get-go, and that was it.
And I mean, when the Cowboys lost to the Titans, the same thing. It's like, you know, Ezekiel was asked after they beat the Saints, you know, what part of the Dallas Cowboys, and he said, "We run and we hit. That's who we are. We run and we hit." And those two teams, the Titans and the Colts, they hit with them.
Yeah, Titans. I mean,
Even the Texans.
I mean, I thought Marcus Mariota would get better and better as the years gone on, but he seems to have regressed. I don't know if it's injuries or what it is, but if they had decent quarterback play, they'd be a lot better than they are now, and they're a tough team right now.
Mariota, he doesn't seem into it to me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about him, but he seems another one who's injury prone as well.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to me like he really likes his job very much.
Yeah, you don't see any
no fire
out of him. No fire. Yeah.
No fire. No fire.
Like
no fire.
Winston, I love his fiery personality. If he could just cut down on the turnovers, I think he's could be a hell of a quarterback. And the Bucs,
He just got to make the play. You're absolutely right. He just got to make the play.
Yeah. And the Bucs would be stupid to move on from him.
Yeah, I think they'd be making a big mistake because
he
has a lot of ability. I don't think he has a lot of weapons.
No. I mean, Mike Evans is good, but he's not a speedster, and Deshaun Jackson's getting old. He's good for a couple of receptions a game.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a really solid plan for Jameis.
True. Yeah.
I don't think, and the fact that he doesn't have a runner is big.
Yeah. I mean, balance is huge. I've always believed that you got to be able to run the ball in order to open up the passing game.
Yeah, you give him like a thunder and lightning, like when they had Allstott and Warwick Dunn.
Yeah.
I think they would probably be pretty tough, man.
It's like I said, the Giants in that year, their last Super Bowl, even though they were dead last in running, Tom Coughlin stayed committed to the run. The carries were high, and I think if you commit it to the run, it helps the passing game.
I'm with you.
But a lot of these coaches now, if they can't get any yardage, they just abandon the run.
Again, it comes back to instant gratification.
Yeah.
If we're not getting it, let's go away from it. And I mean, if you look at NFL history from probably 75 on, the teams who play football, they're the ones that usually come out on top.
Yeah.
Run the football, play some defense, and make some plays through the passing game.
Yeah.
But run the football and play defense.
And
that's what we're going to do tomorrow.
If the Cowboys win their playoff game, you want to come back on?
I'd love to, man. I'd love to. It'd be exciting to talk about the next round.
Yeah, anytime, man, anytime.
Awesome. I'm excited, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and heck, this ended up being pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I had fun. And I'll be rooting for the Cowboys, not tomorrow, but come playoff time.
Well, man, if y'all going to get the win tomorrow, I'm going to get on Facebook and give you all the props in the world.
I appreciate that.
But I can't forget your preseason prediction for my Cowboys, though.
I tell you, Deion Sanders used to drive me nuts whether it was punt returning or intercepting. It seemed like he always took it to the house against the Giants.
Always. You want to go back to your preseason prediction real quick before we go?
What did I say?
I think you said we were going to be 5-11.
Wow, was I off? Whoa.
Wow, you are. So you want some ketchup? You want some mustard? What you want with that crow?
I'll have some mustard.
All right, you got some mustard with that crow, man, because we have won the NFC East, whether we win or lose tomorrow, brother.
And that's the other thing. These people saying that the Cowboys won it by default. They didn't win it by default. They won the fucking division.
Man, and personally, people keep saying it's the weakest division. I'm going to tell you right now, don't nobody want to line up against none of the four.
No, and Alex Smith, before he got hurt, he was doing a hell of a job with Washington.
They were 5-2, bro.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC East, I mean, they've always been a tough division. I mean, always. I mean, look,
Somebody
we haven't
said
had
yesterday. You haven't had what?
we haven't had back-to-back division champs since, I don't know, it's been years.
Years.
I mean,
That's a lot of shit.
I mean, we're in a tough division.
I agree, man. And somebody said yesterday that the NFC East is the toughest division in all of football, historically. And truth be told, if all 4 teams have at least one Super Bowl under their belt,
Yeah.
who's going to argue that?
Yeah, especially with the Cowboys, Giants, and Redskins. I mean, what the Redskins have at least 3, Giants have 4. Cowboys got what, 5? Or
Yep.
something like that?
And
6?
And the Eagles have 1.
I mean, unbelievable.
Unbelievable, bro. What other division can say that?
Yeah, I can't believe I predicted the Cowboys to go 5-11. Shit.
Yeah, you had us doing horrible, man, and it's all good though. You know, I told you was crazy. I told you was crazy then, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you was crazy.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking. Oh man, I haven't.
It might have just been the Giants throwing in you.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good on the picks, but the last 3 years I've been off. I mean, way off.
You got to keep parity in mind though when it comes to the NFL. You have to keep parity in mind because you know you can go from worst to first every year in the NFL.
Every year, I mean, even though you got a lot of players that come back, it's a different team really every year.
Every year, and that's one of the things that Jason Garrett harps on. Is this year's team is not last year's team.
Yeah. I mean,
now
the Giants this year had 62% turnover rate. Most of the players weren't even on the team last year.
There you go. That says a lot right there, man. So worst to first is a reality in the NFL. And, you know, one of the players that I'm going to be watching real close tomorrow is Jordan Lewis. I'm a big Jordan Lewis fan, but I've noticed that the coordinators don't play him a lot of snaps. And I can't put my finger on why.
Huh.
Because when he's out there, he makes plays. And I really haven't seen him get burnt. But I'm going to be watching him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that too myself. Well, Mark, it's been great. I want to talk, you know, anytime you want to come on and, you know, Cowboys win or lose in the playoffs, jump back on.
Cool, man. Let's do it, man. I'm glad you got this platform.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
great. Gave me the opportunity.
The guy that, you know, offered me the show said, make it yours, you know. Don't take no shit and just make it your own. So anytime you want to come on, just hit me up.
I like the sound of that, man. Let's grow this bitch.
Yeah. Time to relax for the rest of the night.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
You too.
About to get into the college playoff game.
Yeah. Florida, I think, is playing now, right? Or
no, it's
Notre Dame and Clemson.
Yeah, 3-3, Notre Dame, Clemson.
Yeah. I'm hoping Notre Dame wins, but I have a feeling Clemson's going to take this.
I mean, if I'm looking at it, I've got it on in the background here. And from a physical standpoint, Dame seems to be edging Clemson from physicality.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, I like that quarterback, Lawrence, for Clemson, the freshman.
Yeah. And I like him.
I saw him in that All-American high school game. He looked good.
He is good, man. He is good. But I just don't. I mean, losing that DT for this game, I think it's going to be a big deal because just from watching some of the action while we've been talking, physically, Dame seems to be moving them around a lot more than Clemson is moving them around.
That's surprising, too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate it. I'm fixing to run off. We'll chat soon.
I'm going to roll me a little something and enjoy the rest of these football games.
Sounds real dope to me, man. Later.
All right, Mark. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care.
The proceeding was a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. Thank you for listening.